Hello and welcome back to the desk. My name is Fdot, joined here by Hinduman, otherwise known as Thom and Graham. But we're here for round of 8 of the final piece of Phase 1.
It's
of
Pokemon Battle
Relegations.
Day.
It is.
Again, we get to see Pokemon Battle. It's going to be a Salamander versus Squirtle Squad.
Is Salamander a Pokemon?
Well, technically, a Salamander is classed as a fire-type Pokemon for the most part. That's where Charmander comes from.
Oh, okay.
And what happened last week was the water Pokemon beat the fire Pokemon. But this week, the water Pokemon changed one of its roster members, so maybe the water Pokemon aren't as strong. So maybe the fire Pokemon have a chance if they went into the forest and actually farmed some other Pokemon this week to practice.
Apparently, I'm a translator now. Squirtle Squad was the team that won last week's competition between Squirtle Squad and Salamander Squadron. But unfortunately, or fortunately, depending on whatever side you're on, Squirtle Squad has opted to switch out their mid laner, who actually performed very well for a new player. So Spartyman was the previous mid laner, so we're going to see KeegsMate now.
He was the water cannon of the team last week. We'll see if KeegsMate can do the same thing.
You've been hanging out with Pon too long. I just don't understand any of what you're saying, honestly.
That's okay.
Well, we've got the round of 8 coming for you. Thank you for joining us during Relegations. Instead of watching the Daytona 500, which is actually on today. But,
they just drive in a circle, right?
Yeah, they make left turns.
It's like Cheap Man's Formula 1.
I knew the Formula 1 comment was going to come out of our UK friends. So we're going to get into our picks and bans of our round of 8 right about now. And once again, it's the Squirtle Squad taking on the Salamander Squadron. And the first pick goes over to the blue squad, which will be Squirtle.
So question on everyone's lips once again is what's going to get banned as per usual? Will we see Raven get through? Remember, Amaterasu and Sol not available for this tournament this week.
Or Raijin.
Oh, well, okay. We all knew that one.
I'm just informing.
We all knew that one, Fdot.
Listen,
God.
I'm just trying to inform everybody. Ao Kuang ban, pretty okay. Isis ban.
Surprised we see an Isis ban because Isis, she fires Spirit Balls, which are technically hot, and that's a fire-type move. So I'm surprised they take that off the table.
Kemper going to be banned as well by Squirtle Squad. They don't want to have anything to do with the assassin, Ao Kuang, or the support. Robin has to be taken off by Salamander Squadron, so Squirtle Squad now opting for their #1 pick on the left side. They will choose Janus, the global mage.
They went with this last week. It went well for them as well, but it was played by Spartyman. Yep. Like we said, it's KeegsMate this time round. Can he perform the same way and put Squirtle Squad on the front foot?
Yeah, I mean, that's the big question here. Spartyman came to play fantastically last week. He even showed up in the Combine that we had the week before. So Spartyman has proven his worth, but now it's KeegsMate's turn to really show what he can bring to the table. Chiron and Athena selected for Salamander.
More than likely we'll see from Squirtle Squad here a Geb pickup just to counteract the Athena. That matchup is kind of sad. Maybe we'll see a Ho-Yi again coming out for Squirtle Squad. It's one of the go-tos when Chiron's been picked up. You normally see Ho-Yi and Chiron, but we have started seeing a lot of Rama just lately.
Instead, we're going to see the Hun Batz played by Cynosure here for the Squirtle Squad. Most likely, sometimes we have seen Batz take his talents into the solo lane, but likely to be in the jungle. And there's the Geb. As Hinduman said, the shield from Geb will just really counteract a lot of what Athena can do inside the lane.
And the shield nowadays being maxed as well by a lot of these Geb supports, which means it's going to be able to absorb a lot of burst damage, which the mages are putting out because of Doom Orb. And trying to get him through the early stages, there's a lot of things that shield can really help out with. And that's why we've seen a lot of Geb still.
He's just such a powerful character, able to counteract crowd control when that's important, and then, able to stun or help out his teammates. And now Kali for the guys on Salamander Squadron. Very interesting choice this early in the draft.
And I was going to say, it's very surprising to see them go for Kali now. I don't think anyone would have expected them to go for Kali just yet, so they didn't have to pick it here. They could have looked for a mid-lane option. This gives an opportunity for Squirtle Squad to ban away mid-lane mages now.
See, I'm on the other side. The reason I think it's odd to pick Kali here is Kali, I generally, when I pick Kali, I want to see... Chin size are going to come out, and I like Kali against tanky lineups, right? Sort of as maybe not as harsh as Nemesis, but she's generally a tank killer. So I'd like to see a little bit more tanky lineup before I commit to the Kali. But Salamander Squadron have a lot of faith in their jungler, iFates, who's likely going to play that Kali. So we'll see how hard she launches into the stratosphere, because that's kind of what Kali does. She either goes off or not at all.
Pretty much Odin and Freya taken away by Salamander Squad here. It says to me that they were kind of looking towards the duo lane. I mean, Odin can go in the solo as well, but more than likely duo lane for both those gods as this game goes on. Odin, pretty good matchup against Chiron just for locking him inside that ring. There's no way of leaping out of it for him. And Kali, a couple of issues there. Vamana locked in. Not a surprise to see him up and available. And with that Guan ban, it kind of limits the God pool availability for where Squirtle Squad could look here for the solo lane.
This is a fantastic lineup for Salamander Squadron. I can hear two things. I can hear the sprint activation, and I can hear DM Brandon shouting for joy. Vamana has been a character that we haven't seen enough of in week number 1, but here in week number 2 of relegation, people have understood the meta a little bit more, or rather the Season 3 game a little bit more. We're seeing more of the baby. And going up against him in the solo lane will be Bellona.
Bellona locked in, and that just leaves a mid laner left for Salamander Squadron here. Where will they head? With Isis taken off, as well as Agni. Limit is a little bit more limited. Maybe we'll see a Poseidon this time round is a possibility here for a little bit more control to go with this composition.
I don't know if we'll see the Poseidon. I'd like to see something. Well, you can't go Chronos here because Kali and Vamana are both basic attack based.
You're looking to try and keep Janus from getting through portals, potentially keep Geb pinned down as well and allow Kali to close out. But it's going to be Nuwa, a safe option here. Does have some stun with the Clay Minion combo with the Shining Metal, but it seems like a very, very safe option here. The front line, the engage for this team, I want to say for Salamander Squadron, is a little bit limited. They're going to be relying a lot on Athena taunts to really set themselves up, or Kali blink initiations, which is a little bit of a worrisome.
Exactly, because fineokay on this Vamana is going to be... Vamana is not... he just doesn't have the control that other warriors have at the base of it. And
look at this.
UzzyWuzzy surrounded by 3 members of Salamander.
He's going to get slowed down too. That could actually spell first blood here, the continued chase, but Hombat shows his face, so realizing it's still a tanky enough target below level 1.
Yeah, the slow can really get you into trouble. That's why we see sometimes players start off with level 1 curse, but actually nobody. This time around, everybody bringing beads to the party. But take a look at Athena one more time. We saw this last game. We're going to see it one more time. The Scout is coming out.
You got to make sure it's useful, though. That's a big key here. You're going to use it as an active. So you're early on relic. You want to make sure you get a lot of wards placed down, keep an eye out for rotations, and really try and punish the enemy team. This does help you with against the Janus as well, just because you can keep an eye on where those ultimates are.
And look at that right there. 50 gold earned thanks to the Scout.
Thank you very much.
Immediately.
But at the same time, can you get punished for that is the question. There is Ohmayne on that Geb with Blink, and you can try and pick off early targets in that dual lane if you can see a rotation from the jungler.
I suppose. And Athena's a character that, I mean, Blink sort of works on everybody. And if you take a look at last year, though, Athena, we saw the Blink come on a little bit later as the season went on. But when I think Blink supports, I think Ymir, Ares, I think Geb, these characters that sort of need these initiation tools. Athena has the dash and the ultimate, so she can function without the blink. So because of her ability to really get in and out and initiate without assistance from items, the Scout really works out perfectly for
Now,
her.
Salamander Squadron there at the beginning of this game, they took the safer option and got to lanes quicker. They didn't take the back harpies here, so they pushed it down further, so they could get lane control in duo lane. They were hoping for it in mid lane too, but the rotation from Hombat was a little bit better there, and Janus managed to get the push power on. But it's going to help out this duo lane early on. Chiron, Athena can try and get some good pressure onto this lane early, and maybe just continue it.
Yeah, this lane will likely go the way of Chiron, just because for the moment, just because of how much wave clear him and Athena have combined. Hoyu will wait a little while for his clear to really come online, and we'll take a look at Salamander Squadron sort of running this.
The real key for that duo lane there is keep the pressure on. They may not be able to find a kill, but if they can keep them pinned under the tower, they can look to steal away the boars in the jungle and continue extrapolating the lead.
Exactly, and that's what we saw a lot of last week, and this week continued with the European relegations yesterday, was that not necessarily looking for those kills in the lane, although if they come, most teams will certainly take them, but it's more about, as you said, the jungle advance and how often those back camps and the boards come up. You want to be able to get those rotations.
Rotation over from Squirtle Squad to their own back boards. They're not going to share that with Bellona, but the main jungler picking that up. It will help them hit 5 a little bit quicker, but slow down UzzyWuzzy on hitting his 5.
Look how low Ohmayne is already. Geb, despite having the shield, he's going to choose who to shield, and so he winds up shielding his Hunter a lot of the time. But UzzyWuzzy on the other side of the map gets enough pressure in his lane to go ahead and steal the board.
I was going to say he was going to be behind an experience because Duo and the jungler took it away from him, but stealing away those boars is going to give him the lead in this lane. He should hit 5 right about now.
Oh, well, right there. On the money, Hindu.
Pretty much. I saw it in the left-hand corner. You can see the experience going up, so I was cheating, really.
All right, well, listen to you. You got that one. I'd still beat you in a thumb wrestle.
That's a bit rude. I'll beat you in a Pokemon War. I'll take Squirtle Squad.
Well, we'll see. Salamander Squadron putting up a fight here. Although in the solo lane, UzzyWuzzy seems to be really running things. Vamana's clear will come on maybe a level or two after Bellona's, but once it's there, it's almost instantaneous.
He's pretty much there at the moment. He's trying to get poke out at the same time onto
Exactly.
Wuzzy's the big key in this one. And it's pretty much a farm off lane for the most part. But UzzyWuzzy got himself a nice little lead here by pushing in consistently against him. We'll just see if he can continue that into the mid-late game when they actually get to the team fight stage.
Right now here in the mid lane, very early on in this game, we'll take a look at our jungler and our mid laner combining, looking for those mid harpies, but left-hand side, a little bit of aggression. Ohmayne tries to get the roll out. Unfortunately for him, splits the uprights and goes right in
aggression
between
though
players.
in the jungle. They're looking for the pick onto Carly here. Got to force her ultimate early on. Batz did use his ultimate there, so Cynosure doesn't have that. And now there's a rotation from Noir and Athena over here to help protect.
KeegsMate not in trouble at all thanks to a clever portal, putting him right on through that piece of geography.
Wuzzy's in a little bit of trouble there in the jungle. Has his ultimate available still, but being chased down by a full health Vamana. He made a rotation there to support the aggression in there, but maybe good decision to ult. Could have been picked off.
Yeah, I like that decision out of UzzyWuzzy, and right there, the last-minute ultimate really shows his sort of how long he's been playing. He doesn't want to use that ultimate right away, then he gets slowed in the middle of the lane. Waits to the last possible moment, make sure he has to use the ult before Roma Invicta comes out of that.
Didn't really lose anything from that either, but Ohmayne in the mid lane here looking to try for a blink initiation if he can find it. Team's not interested in it. They're going to go away, take the blue. Red buff is also available, so Ohmayne going to rotate back to the dual lane, soak up some experience there as Chiron and Hoi continue doing battle, which is what we expect for a while this season.
Yeah, these guys should be going head-to-head for quite a while. There's the blink initiate coming out from the support. And Turtleman looking for some extra damage. Ultimate's going to come out, but only one tick of the Suns. And that's going to be an unfortunately placed ult coming out of Turtleman. So Chiron, well, he'll be all right.
Yeah, it was a good gank attempt overall. I just think they miscombined their abilities a little bit too much. You saw the knock-up happen from Hoi, and at the same time, we also saw the blink initiation from Geb. I feel that Geb could have waited an extra second there, potentially wait for the purification to be potentially used, and then go aggressive.
So our Kali here in the jungle, we'll take a look at our itemization, because that's really what Kali is all about. Itemization. One of the most item-dependent gods in the game has gone attack speed boots. Now, this will limit her options as far as how many attack speed items she can purchase. We likely are going to see the Chin Sai, right?
We will see Chin Sais. That's pretty much guaranteed we'll see Chin Sais on the Kali. The big key about Kali this season is the changes to her passive and the fact that you get golden experience as well as a heal from kills and assists is the big one.
That's the key point. I mean, no longer are you going to see Kali's, well, you'll probably still see Kali's slamming their keyboards, but it used to be all or nothing. If you didn't get the kill on your target,
it was over.
You just didn't have a passive. So
just getting involved with a bleed, potentially on the whole team, and one of them dying, you're going to constantly get considerable heals in that engagement, even if they're just assists.
Just being around.
Yeah, exactly.
In the team fight at all. That's going to be a big deal as Cynosure clears out some of the vision.
Speaking of fates, though, he is over on this right-hand lane looking for UzzyWuzzy, who's still dueling here. Now he's spotted Kali. Has his ultimate available to disengage if he wants to, but he's trying to hold it very, very long here. Very patient.
Well played by the red team. Unfortunately, just not enough damage to take out UzzyWuzzy this early on, and it's only going to get more difficult as we see the back out of Bellona go right into
Fair no evil, though, in the jungle looking for the pick on Athena. It's already pretty much wasted all their abilities down. They're still trying to pick her as the shield comes out from Geb as well. Good damage from Unstable Vortex, but through space and time misses, and no first blood.
This is going to be the ult out of Noir. Don't think she's going to get much out of that besides some player damage.
And this game really plays, for me, into Salamander Squadron's favor. The longer this game goes, the more Kali will be online in a situation to get aggression on. Vamana will be a lot tankier and harder to kill. Athena will have those levels to be a front line and get those taunts off with a little bit of cooldown reduction, hopefully. And then you've got Noir's damage, which will get considerably much more as the Doom will get stacked, but left on side.
Ooh, a lot of damage coming out from the Blue Hunter onto Chiron. A good horse kick will put Sops safely under his own tower. But you're 100% correct there, Hinduman. Salamander Squadron has the item-dependent team. When you look at Vamana, when you look at the mid lane, there's going to be some damage going on. And one more time, Fate's trying to get a kill. But there's that Geb shield you were talking about, the adjustment that supports have made. Can we hover over Geb real quick? You talked about this adjustment that supports have made in Season 3, and you can see the shield is being maxed up before the knockup like we used to see.
The main reason for this is what what we're seeing with the Gebs is that they're getting bursted a lot harder in the early game. Supports are a little bit squishier early on until about level 10, level 12, before they really start to get those core items online that you see out of supports from Season 2. So that shield is for himself as well as his teammates. But the amount of burst damage you can see out of mages early on because they're rushing these Doom mobs allows them to protect a lot of that damage and keep the team in the fight a little bit longer. It's not just used for the cleanse anymore, which a lot of teams were using.
It's one of those abilities that it has, without changing the ability itself, the ability has changed, which is a lot of fun. I really enjoy to see the ripple effects of changes.
It's very similar to like Ymir at Worlds when we saw Rafa playing it, maxing Wall, which was something we'd not really seen done for a very long time. But right side, we may see Chiron fall down. Good snipes though coming out in response from Sops here.
A strong jump will save Turtleman, but a couple of... Sops turns it around. This is a close one. Cynosure gets the kill off the screen, but meanwhile, 2 members from the red team are here, and KeegsMate makes the rotation as well.
You are. In response, though, with the ultimate, gotta find the kill on Turtleman. 1 for 1, both hunters die. We did also see, though, in the jungle, I believe Cynosure picked up a kill there. I'm not sure who that was on. It was on Athena, I guess, on the rotation.
Cynosure picked up Athena during the rotation, but Salamander Squadron pick up their first kill off of that new ultimate. Very important kill for the Salamander Squadron, getting themselves on the board right there. Bees used out of Purification, taken away from Nuwa. So that's going to be a long time that she will be vulnerable to that crowd control. Because despite Nuwa in general being thought of as a safe mage, without that ultimate, she's relatively easy to hunt down.
Well, for the most part, she's very... You can see where she's going to be at the most time. She's got the ultimate defensive usage, but Purification did just get used there in that engagement, which is what you mentioned. You're going to see Cynosure should be getting called about that now for the Fear No Evil. Next time that's up, they should be looking for the pick on Nuwa in mid. If they can land it before she gets into her ultimate, then they've got a free kill pretty much.
Nothing is free in Smite. Even in Relegations, these guys really have to work for everything. And you can take a look at these solo laners putting in as much work as possible, bringing each other down to about half HP. You can tell fineokay is trying to get that knockup so that UzzyWuzzy falls into the tower.
And fineokay is doing a good job of baiting because he's got Carly coming over, still has his ultimate available too. Carly's going to dive this one. No, they're not. They chased a mind.
Very interesting considering that Kali has that you can't kill me ultimate. I think that the damage from the Vamana and the Kali combined might have netted a kill.
Chase was a little bit risky though. I think if Vamana would have got an aggro first of all into the tower, had his ultimate, could have sustained and let Kali go in for the kill. Instead they chose against it by mid lane. There's the combo we were looking for on the Nuwa. Will they find the pick? Yes, they will. Nuwa, no ultimate available, and no purification as we saw from the gank earlier on.
That's the key. Squirtle Squad took note that there was no purification on that mid mage. The stun that comes out of Nuwa is a 1-2 punch. It's not instantaneous, which means if you can control that, you can control the life.
Lord.
And that's what Cynosure is doing right now. 3-0-0 for the jungler on the side of Squirtle Squad.
Fantastic bait from Squirtle Squad. They just hung at the corner there, wait for the rotation. The monkey tossed it out straight away, jumps to the target to get the damage off, and now the zoning is on. Oh, he hits the unstable. Sorry, 3 space and time onto Sops. That should be free Gold Fury now. Yeah,
Gold Fury now with a couple of kills and some good spacing provided to them by way of an ultimate out of Janus. That's going to be a free Gold Fury to the Squirtle Squad. They worked for it before, but now it's free. 3,300 gold in the lead as we approach 11 minutes on the clock. Squirtle Squad, they won last week, and right now they're looking very strong, even with the change to the mid lane.
I think the big key here as well is what we've seen in that Squirtle Squad is they're realizing that technically we're on a clock for a little while. The pace of the game was relatively slow at the beginning, no real kills on the board, but now all of a sudden they've started to turn it up. They've started to bring their teamwork together and actually find these picks with the Janus, with the Bats, calling out the use of relics and then trying to capitalize on it before this technically late game composition of Salamander Squadron comes online.
I'm very glad. So the cameraman can read my mind. I was just going to bring up, can we see the wards placed? Because Athena here, that's really what I wanted to look at. Are we getting our money's worth out of this scout? And with double the amount of wards that anybody else has on the map, I think we can say that Athena's vision has been paying off.
Getting money's worth out of it, but at the same time, keeping on an inventory. She is still buying sentry wards there too. You can still only place 2 wards at a time anyway.
Right.
But it's allowing her to save a little bit more gold, get a build online a little bit quicker. You can see Hide of the Urchin already finished here. Also went for Talaria boots for extra gold generation here as well. So money income is something that she's very interested in this game.
Yeah, the Athena, despite those Talaria boots, still down about 200 gold. iFates going to walk directly into UzzyWuzzy, but fineokay is here as well, and Bellona doesn't want to take 2-on-1 just yet.
Been
Maybe
a lot of
later.
focus from iFates on this solo, and now he's going to get some damage return once again. Knocked into tower, though, and that rotation through space and time hit! Forced the ultimate, though. Good timing from Fates to save the day on that one.
That was a audio cue if I've ever seen one. Fates just heard the damage that was coming around the corner, and now Squirtle Squad are behind the tier 1 tower, trying to take out a tanky Vamana, a tanky Athena. This might be a little aggressive. Good ultimate out of Ohmayne to create distance. Salamander Squad will be stuck underneath their solo lane tower, while the Squirtle Squad walk away.
Little bit of a boxing match over in the duo lane as well between Chiron and Ho-Yi going on here. You can see the Turtleman being zoned off the experience a little bit here. Returning damage back with a minion wave in tow. Trades out, but back to the solo lane. And now it's return of Salamander Squadron. They're the ones going aggressive.
And they're the ones behind the tier 1. This might be a little too aggressive as well. Already we see the actives used by the mid lane. fineokay makes his trip worth it. Taking out KeegsMate, but Cynosure very low, surrounded by red.
Good shield.
But he gets the kill before he goes down, and red team, it's up to them to see if he will go down. Knockup is not going to make it thanks to a strong blink, and a rollout out of Ohmayne will send the baby in the opposite direction. So Salamander Squadron get a little bit, but maybe not everything they hoped for in that solo lane, and Chiron couldn't seal the deal on his Hunter
Action is everywhere right now, and it was really good play from both teams to survive as long as they did. Their Fates got a very good jump off to avoid the knock-up from Geb coming out, but a good shield from Ohmayne as well really paid off. And then over in the duo lane, Chiron, considering the fact that he got bullied a little bit earlier and was actually 0-1 early on in that engagement, he's still come back and been very strong in those trades with Turtleman.
Yeah, I mean, he almost took out Turtleman, and as I said, I very rarely give credit to almost, unless you chase the player out of lane. And taking a look here, Turtleman had to go back to base. So,
luckily though, Humbas was there to farm up that experience, so he couldn't take down the tower there. As we tune back in with the mid laner once again, KeegsMate, the newest addition to Squirtle Squad, replacing Sporting Man from last week. 1-1 and 3 at the moment, up to 14 stacks. He's taken a long time to get the stacks online though. You can see that he died and he's only at 14 stacks, which means he wasn't full stack to begin with.
Yeah, he's just been rotating. We've seen him in every lane but his own pretty much, whereas Nuwa pretty content to sit in the mid lane, farm up, get her stacks, as she's sitting pretty at the top max 50 stacks, and then just pop the ultimate when needed.
Good invasion from Squirtle Squad here though, recognizing the red buff was available, going to be taken away. Given over to the Batz as well, so 2 red buffs on 2 different members of Squirtle Squad.
Yeah, on this Janus, you definitely, on any mage that has the 2 more, you generally want
the same bait round the corner catches another foe in an awkward position.
Now Sheyka's getting aggressed on by Cynosure, and here comes
the snipe hit!
One more time, KeegsMate has really shown his prowess on Janus, and this is a character that a lot of our mid mages have been showing off.
What we're seeing out of Squirtle Squad here is corner camping more than anything else. It's an FPS term, but they're basically just waiting around the corner and catching it every single time you come around.
But here's the thing, Hinduman. You know, fool me once.
Shame on you.
Shame on.
Fool me twice. You can't fool me twice.
You can't fool me again.
But George Bush taught me that one. I learned that one a long time ago. But I know Case will be chased down though under the tower here.
UzzyWuzzy getting very aggressive, doesn't care that there's a tower on top of him thanks to that hide of the Nimi Lion. A lot of protections on that item. But Heavy Hammer does not provide the slow anymore.
He just got meditation baited.
Vamana has meditation, yes.
He just got meditation baited, and now UzzyWuzzy could be in trouble there.
Oh yeah, very low.
That was close. I think that could have been a really interesting one. He could have baited a little bit harder there, fineokay, and then actually turn that one around at the end. The med bait works, and there's a big baby. And Athena's coming too.
Yeah, the blink in from Cynosure was not expecting the ultimate, and now all of a sudden, 1 monkey and 3 salamanders. He's got to run, he's got to jump, but iFates very close to the stun.
Carly has nothing to continue the chase right now.
Wait
for the stun to come back up. No, she used it. She came over the wall, so he's still on cooldown for at least 1 more second. Does have the dot, though, to continue trying to bring him down. There's the jump. There's the stun. See, he's still on cooldown. There you go.
And that's the kill on the Cynosure coming out of iFates under the tower. UzzyWuzzy trying to deal with his own opponent. But a couple of basics and tower hits.
Oh, the juke!
Ultimate's going to miss thanks to a strong
no, what is this game?
No, he'll be fine. iFates, 1 lash, stun misses. Now underneath the tower, Fates has to walk away. But UzzyWuzzy, he's still alive. Truly the victor in this exchange.
No one was the victor in that exchange. What are you talking about, Fdot? I was trying to save players. What was that? We saw the Eagles really get juked out, and then we saw...
He doesn't die.
iFates jump the wrong direction tournament. What?
Well, UzzyWuzzy doesn't die.
You know, that's the main thing, I guess. That's smite.
Right now, Salamander Squadron down, not quite for the count. They're about 4,000 gold out of this one. 3,200 to be a little bit more precise as we pass our 17-minute mark. The kills tell a quite different story, though. 7-3. Looks like Squirtle Squad are really on their way to victory. But
well, they're in a controlling position right now, but it's not as controlling as they would like it to be.
Exactly.
They've made quite a few mistakes, honestly, as this game's gone on. They found good corner camping to get picks, but then they've gone a little bit too aggressive on some of the dive attempts that they've been looking for.
Which really, that's what I was going for before. Salamander Squadron, right? You get hit by that, you get hit by that corner camp strat. Awesome. And that's a surprise. You get hit by it twice in a row, that's a problem. You have to make that adjustment. If Salamander Squadron get okey-doked like that one more time, I think we have to. I think they have to seriously reflect on what they can expect their opponents to do and how they're adjusting.
Goal Fury being started up here by Squirtle Squad. Good response, though, from Salamander. They're well aware of what's going on here. 3 versus 4 at the moment. Collie is on the way, but the engagement goes off once again through space and time fired. Fire shards also used.
Nuwa comes down on the ground, and here's the ultimate out of Cynosure. So a Sanctuary to save the life of the mid laner on the side of Salamander. Chiron already popped up into that ultimate, and we can see Turtleman chasing the mid lane while Cynosure is making sure the rest of Salamander can't find the exit to the mid lane. Turtleman gets a strong shield from Geb, and here's the damage from Fates, but there's the ultimate, no dead Kali. She'll continue to chase. A knock-up will make sure that Kali can't go too far. Camping in the corner one more time is going to be KeegsMate. As Salamander Squadron chases down Turtleman, he throws.
So the Goal Fury stands here, and meanwhile, look at what Bellona's doing. UzzyWuzzy stayed in this lane, didn't have teleport. He's taken down a tier 1. He's half health the tier 2, back farming, forcing Nuwa over. Salamander Squadron are trying to make this worthwhile, though, by trying to force the Goal Fury now, but Ohmayne is still full health here. He can contest. It is a Geb.
Here's Geb.
We've seen him auto-attack and get
Fury,
Fire Giants.
600. Salamander Squadron gets the Gold Fury. That's what you get for not rotating out of the solo lane, says Salamander. And that's going to shorten up the lead that Squirtle Squad had from about 4,000 down to half. 2,300 in the lead is a Squirtle Squad. Salamander Squadron poised to make the comeback.
Once again, a bit of a messy fight from both teams. Salamander Squadron did a good job of surviving there. It was all the initiation coming out from Squirtle Squad that happened. But Squirtle Squad split the damage was the big key there. They put on different targets consistently. You saw Turtleman get caught out of position. The only player for me that really stood out in that engagement was Ohmayne on the Geb. His shields were on point onto Turtleman. He got great knock-up and blinks to help defend his offense. And there's another one.
Sops uses Purification to get out of jail, but over the wall comes Cynosure. One smack in the face is going to put the horse into glue.
Good little... That's mean. That's not nice.
You didn't like that one?
No.
Why not?
Poor horsey.
Well, people eat monkey brains.
Right side, though. UzzyWuzzy 2v1 him. Gets a good bludgeon off, still looking for the pick, no ultimate available, and fineokay will fall down. Now he's turning his attention. 2v1, come at me, son, soloed by UzzyWuzzy.
Oh, but there's the ultimate out of iFates. That ult can turn things around, can and will. Fates takes out the solo laner for Salamander Squadron. All the while, a lot of commitment to the right side means Squirtle Squad get an objective on the left. Gold Fury already down, so they will opt for the tier 1 and still press on to the tier 2.
And look at this, it's 4 members against 2 here. There's not a lot we can really see from Salamander Squadron to defend, and there's Ohmayne going in with a blink, forcing an ultimate for relatively free out of Nuwa.
I like what Ohmayne has been playing like a solo warrior. Do you understand what I'm saying there? He's constantly in front of the engagement, creating just havoc, making the enemy back off. A lot of times we see that out of the Vamanas, the Bellonas, the Chalks, if you will. But this time it's being done by the Geb, which is really exciting.
For a re-aggression there, Turtleman looked for the lead, couldn't find it through space of time, did connect, but Sanctuary was used defensively by the Nuwa to stay alive for now. But look at that, Turtleman tries to find the ultimate, doesn't. Has he got a Ricochet available? He does, but he doesn't connect.
Those ultimates have not been on point from Turtleman. Meanwhile, Fates, on the other hand, has been everything on point. That kill goes the way of Athena, but iFates did the majority of the work there. 2-3-1 for the Kali, and let me tell you, Hinduman, I'm loving the build.
On the Kali?
I'm loving the Kali build.
What's the biggest reason?
So you've got the chin size and the attack speed boots, which I question the attack speed boots, but sure, fine, go for it. Fatalis, so you can keep up. Stone cutting sword. I can discuss this item to death. I absolutely love this item because it is it's a item that works for the characters it works for, and it's irrelevant to everybody else. If you are going to be a basic attack character that wants to be in the middle of a team fight, if you're going to be a nemesis, if you're going to be a Kali, you pick this up, And then as you stay in the team fight, because that's your job to stay left-clicking in the team fight, you just get tankier and tankier while your opponent loses that tankiness. So perfect choice here for Kali. Absolutely love this build. The 2-3-1 is very reflective of where iFates is at, and knowing the way this character works, it's just 22 minutes, Hinduman. As time goes on, this character's going to explode.
I'm okay with the build as long as he goes for a little bit of defense next on this list. He needs a little bit more survivability in this.
Well, that's what the Stone Coding Sword does. Gives him some defense. Gives him some defense.
Yeah, okay, Thom, I'm not sure about that one. I'm not really down for that. I'd like to see like maybe a Bulwark of Hope to avoid the burst damage from the Janus. He's been hit multiple times by unstable vortexes that have dealt like 30%, 50% HP easily. So a Bulwark would allow him to survive a little bit more potentially. Could look towards that, or maybe something to continue chasing. And even a Frostbound Hammer, a heavy hammer would help.
He's got the Fatalis already.
That's true.
So the heavy hammer not necessarily needed, but definitely helpful. Wouldn't mind seeing it go that way, and of course it brings a decent amount of HP. But instead,
damage.
We'll see a
full raw damage Kali coming at you, boys and girls.
You think that's going to be an Odibo?
No, I'll probably say Iqbal right now. Maybe we'll go Odibo eventually though.
If it was
There's a lot of attack speed.
If it was an
just
Iqbal,
a little bit too much, I want to say.
Exactly. That's why I was curious about the attack speed boots. A lot of times you can put yourself in a corner by going attack speed boots because it limits your other attack speed options.
If he goes for Odibo here and then potentially trades them out for Warrior Tabby, he could go for that as an option. Potentially. Will he do it though is the question, but look at this. What was KeegsMate thinking?
He was thinking he wanted to go say hi to iFates, but all members of Salamander Squadron are here. iFates can't catch up to the mage as Janus walks right on through the geometry. Gab all by himself. Here comes Athena. 4 members from Salamander Squadron looking at the support, not stopping. Taunt! Basics. There's the hit. Fates gets the kill. 3 kills, no deaths so far. And UzzyWuzzy drops the stun hammer on top of the entire team, but he's all by himself. Turtleman is on a tier 1.
Trying to bring down at least one target. Instead, going to get a reset for Fates, and that's 4 kills in favor of Salamander Squadron. Here's the thing. If you're going to blind pull through a wall, you're going to have a bad time. He went in blind, didn't know where the enemies were, and paid the iron price, pretty much. As did the rest of his team.
He was waiting. Saw the portal, said, okay, whoever comes through here,
they could lose the game of this right now.
Well-placed ultimate out of Turtleman, but unfortunately, Salamander Squadron just doesn't care. They were previously trailing, but not so much anymore. Into the fountain. Ultimate not going to be able to come off. The greed has been exposed, and Cynosure puts Fates.
I'm actually fine with that, because by keeping him busy, got the Phoenix for free with no defense. Batz uses the Fear No Evil defensively there to get the kill, which means he can't defend the Phoenix in the mid lane, which would have been difficult for him to find anyway. But Salamander Squadron haven't done anything special this game. What they've done is they've just been in the right spot at the right time for me. They've got away from gank attempts from Squirtle Squad and turned it around every single time. And the one time a mistake is made by Salamander Squadron, they punish them for it.
And I mean, this is the turnaround. Salamander Squadron, if we take a look at the graphs real quick, you can see that they have been trailing for the majority of this contest. But just in this minute, 25 minutes on the clock right now, we're at 25-20. At 25... what was that, 25-10? It looked like that sweep completely changed, and now 2,500 gold in the lead for the Salamander Squadron.
Salamander have evolved this week. That's the big key. They hit the mega evolution.
They're on fire.
They hit the mega evolution here. That's what's happened.
Nobody is going to dampen these players' games today. And you know what? Honestly, a lot of times when one team wins 1 week and then fails to repeat, a lot of times you look for changes, and right away you can look at Squirtle Squad and say, well, Spartyman's not here, KeegsMate is, and we just watched him walk into a Kali. I honestly don't think that's the case. I think Salamander are just playing a stronger game this time around.
Well, now in the mid lane, look at this. Geb a little bit out of position here. Ohmayne going to get focused on, but he's very tanky, so it's not an easy target for them to bring down. And he's rolling out quicker than Vamana can chase.
Vamana can chase, but he won't be able to catch. There's the ultimate out of the Janus, and now iFates is the one in trouble. Take it down before the ultimate could even be deployed. That's how you know how much burst is coming out of these characters. And Chiron also going to find a death as well, thanks to Cynosure.
And this is turning into a game of who's going to make the least amount of mistakes, because every single time we see an engagement, someone's making mistakes. We saw Salamander Squadron go in there. iFates goes in very deep, gets picked for free, and this is a repeat of what we saw KeegsMate do in the last engagement. And now this gives a chance for Squirtle Squad to look at the Fire Giant.
Fire Giant, as you said, started up KeegsMate, but Salamander Squadron is here close enough that this should probably be leashed for the benefit of everybody. Very low is Turtleman. No chase given by the Salamander Squadron, thanks to Squirtle Squad showing up in spades. 3 members being stunned by Nuwa. That's a big chunk of damage from that mage, and that's going to send the blue team into their own jungle.
For only 3 men to defend that fire giant, they did a very good job, and now they're still going aggressive in the jungle here, trying to be cheeky and steal away the blue. They don't find it, and they're just keeping Squirtle Squad pinned back here more than anything else while they wait for the respawns.
Can we take a look at Kali real quick? I want to take a look at her build. Yeah, 2.43, so just underneath that 2.5 attack speed cap, even with the boots. And we're going to see a mace being built. This will likely be a Titan's Bane for the penetration.
It's an aggressive, full-on damage
This
Kali
is
build
glass
here.
cannon.
But the problem is that she really is playing it like a glass cannon. We saw her go in that last engagement and get relatively 2-shot.
That's exactly my problem. A lot of times Kali can get away with building less defense than other characters because of the nature of her ultimate and the nature of her passive. But the problem here, what's different about Season 3, as much as the change to the passive has made Kali more viable, the change to do more means that Kali has to be even more careful despite that ultimate.
Well, Fire Giant Phoenix in the mid lane is going to spawn soon for Squirtle Squad, and I think that's what they're going to hold off on for now. Get this mid lane Phoenix back up and potentially look to just control the objectives so they don't get stolen away more than anything. That's why you can see Turtleman there, keeping an eye on Sops there, looking towards the Gold Fury.
Just making sure all the vision is there. That's pretty much what this one is about. And speaking of vision, Scout on that Athena. There are red wards pretty much everywhere. 20 wards placed to Janus is 15 on this mid laner. 2, 2, and 5, so it's not even like he has an excess of gold. He's just opting to use it for the team.
Very
from
well
Athena.
positioned.
Ohmayne in some trouble. Double stun out of the ultimate out of Geb. Giving chases, fades a strong body block out of the Hunter. Will prevent the catch-up, and Cynosure takes out Sops with a stronghold.
Cynosure with a good re-engage there to find that pick, and now we're going to see Nuwa probably fall down to UzzyWuzzy, but reinforcements are here to help protect. Meanwhile, Turtleman does pick up iFates as UzzyWuzzy. He doesn't know what to do with himself now. He's like, I can't really chase this down.
I love the play right there coming out of our Athena player, Rachetier. We saw the drive-by taunt. Notice that the Bellona was going into the whirlwind that is the bludgeon. Taunts her out of it, no damage, but doesn't stop to do anything about it. Just stops the onslaught. And right now, looks like it stopped the onslaught for a moment as Squirtle Squad barking down this tier 2 tower, looking for the kill. And they're going to add 1,500 gold to their coffers. So Salamander Squadron still have a slight lead. But 30 minutes into this game, Hinduman, 1,000 gold in either direction will give nobody an advantage.
The longer the game goes, though, like I said, it's going to be mistakes now. I wanted to give this towards Salamander Squadron the later this goes, but we're seeing both teams have aggressive fights. We saw iFates go in there, aggressive on the Geb, looking for the pick on Geb when he was low. But it's not an easy target for a Kali to bring down, especially, you know, with how tanky Gebs can be.
I mean, that's the thing. That's Kali's job, is to take out these tanky targets with the Chin Sai being on the chainsaw. She's going to be attacking so quick, but the problem was she just took too much damage. We talked about the lack of defense items on this Kali, which Kali traditionally gets away with because of that ultimate. But in Season 3, there's just too much burst to be able to depend on that ult to save you 100% of the time.
So a quick pause coming out there. You can see there's a few members of Salamander Squadron hanging around the Fire Giant, just clearing out wards there for the most part. And we'll see where they're going to head to next, because I think the Fire Giant is going to be where this game ends now. Unless we see another mistake like KeegsMate portaling through the wall like he did and forcing a 4v5. It'll more than likely come down to this Fire Giant more than anything else.
Yeah, I for sure think it's one of those games where everything that happened throughout is all for naught. Whoever wins these next 1 or 2 team fights kind of take the game. And right now, teams dancing around the Fire Giant.
It's one thing we've not really spoken about too much this season is that blue buff and how easy it is to try and steal over the wall. Just because it stands still. It's a ranged minion, that blue buff, so he doesn't move a lot. So he's always going to be relatively right in the middle of that camp the whole time. So throwing abilities over the wall can be really effective.
Positioning by Squirtle Squad. Better than Salamanders. They've got the lead, and Geb coming around from the backside. Will catch nobody in the flank. Knock up onto fineokay, but he's a very tanky Vamana.
Yeah, both supports there looking for some
Left
out of
side.
position, but the junglers are the ones that are fighting.
Kali had the advantage, but KeegsMate combined with the ult of the Cynosure puts the assassin in the ground one more time, dying without activating the ultimate.
Still a 4v4 though. Here is the big point, because Cynosure did go back to base just then. He will be on his way back to the fight, and that's why Squirtle Squad are just holding for him, waiting for that man advantage to come back to look for this Fire Giant.
Vamana caught out, but again, look how tanky he is. That unstable vortex is hitting for a lot, but Vamana able to walk pretty much away. And, you know, thanks to a half an urchin, a bulwark of hope, a lot of health given to him by the
Corner camp, blink, initiation from Ohmayne, doesn't find the unstable vortex ball, connects though, no further follow-up, and that's blink cataclysm down on the support.
Tanky. Nobody is really able to take out this Vamana or this Athena at this moment in time.
fineokay has got to make a decision on Vamana now. Does he go for the Phoenix, or does he come to this fight and try and defend the Fire Giant? Looks like he's making the call to come to the Fire Giant, as Cynosure is keeping Sops busy.
Fire Giant's at 5,600 HP. Here comes Vamana. He's going to be able to distract the opponent. And there's the Athena ultimate being channeled on him as well.
Messy engagement again as the taunt comes out, and there's Vamana's big baby. You can see KeegsMate is back, and immediately Salamander Squadron retreat, which is a good call. They defended the Fire Giant, that's what they wanted.
Exactly. Salamander Squadron, they don't want to bite off more than they can chew. They just stop the onslaught on the objective, and that's strong enough. Here's the re-engage coming out from the red squad. Double taunt into some damage coming out from the mage. And now on the backside, fineokay looking for help. And Sops going to die to the hand of the solo laner. Death onto iFates as well. This time he gets the ultimate.
Turtleman jumped in, gets annihilated. Will heal back up with iFates a little bit as KeegsMate was going in for the unstable vortex. Has the purification away. Round the corner though, you can see UzzyWuzzy trying to get some damage off, looking for the pick. They're not going to find it. And on the front line, fineokay is back after that teleport in. He should clean up.
Knock up on the fineokay will help UzzyWuzzy for just the moment. Sheyka gets credit for that one, putting the third kill onto the mid laner for Salamander Squadron. And with all of that aggression, that should create some space for the red team to start up on the Fire Giant, despite not having their hunter.
Now Salamander should be doing the Fire Giant right now as fineokay pushes down mid lane and keeps them all pinned in here. Like you said, they don't have a hunter though, so the amount of damage they can put out, it should be enough. Oh, hang on a second. KeegsMate was trying to defend Fire Giant there, and he's going to find out he's still standing.
KeegsMate finds himself all alone, and the enemy pulls the okie doke, and red team now pushing down the mid lane. Cynosure gets very low. Good Geb shield is going to save his life for the moment, but this Firebird, despite getting 3 people in that stun, Ohmayne not able to do much, but KeegsMate takes out Fates one more time.
Keep an eye on these respawns too, because that's 62 seconds that iFates has to wait in base right now for. So the longer this game goes, the longer the respawns are. One mistake is becoming more and more critical every time. The best news is both teams making mistakes, which is allowing both teams to stay in the game.
Yeah, this is making the back and forth, the tug of war, a lot of fun here. In our 34th minute, Squirtle Squad and Salamander Squadron all tied up, despite the kill lead going the way of Squirtle Squad, 17-12. Salamander Squadron have evened things up through a couple of clever plays surrounding the Gold Fury and other objectives.
Look at this though, KeegsMate pushed them back as deep as he could, and now they're going to try and rush the Fire Giant down here, Squirtle Squad. No teleport available for fineokay to get back here. Neither knew
Athena's here.
But can those two on their own defend this?
We'll see. There's the taunt, taking 2 members off of the Fire Giant. 3,600 life onto that objective. And here comes the ultimate out of Cynosure to take out Sops. There's KeegsMate taking out Rachetier. Everybody's dead, and Squirtle Squad confirms the kill on the Fire Giant. fineokay giving chase, but the Sanctuary will save Turtleman for a moment.
Guess one. Looks to disengage, turn it around, back in again. He's got Nuwa in support on the way. fineokay still trying to battle this one. They turn to fight him actually with the regen he's getting, and they're getting a lot of pressure on. But look at this, with Nuwa supporting, they switch attention to her.
Sanctuary, says Sheyka, but just for a second, Cynosure puts the 20th kill on the board for his team as fineokay turns around and takes out the mid lane. It's just a moment of time.
Face trying to do what he can. He's got disarmed there, but gets the heal.
That's
reset.
the passive
Of a kill. Can he find another one? Yes, he
passive.
Can. Turns to UzzyWuzzy. What can UzzyWuzzy do against this situation?
That's the passive. 3 kills for the Kali. That is the potential of this character. That is why you choose this character.
And that's game because fire minions will be pouring down the middle lane continuously.
Turtleman is 15 seconds. Well, if Fates could take out, if Fates could do this in 10 seconds, that's game. Titan down to 80. Oh, 85. With the Athena help?
Nope, that's done.
This is going to be close, folks. Athena's here. Shield wall is down. The basics coming out. Turtleman is going to spawn right now, but there's only 1,000 HP left on the Titan. The mark is strong, but not strong enough. Kali won the game by himself.
No. Don't be silly. Don't be silly. Fire beat water, though.
Kali won that last engagement.
Pokemon means nothing.
Kali won that last engagement by himself.
He pressed left click. And everybody had used all
Can't take it away.
Already.
Can't take it away. Kali comes out on top right there, and it's funny because a lot of time during that match I was watching and I said, you know, Kali is this character that is like a light switch, right? We saw her 2, 3, and 1, built a couple of items, and then all of a sudden got a double kill, and then made a lot of mistakes.
I mean, both teams made considerable mistakes, and I think that's what they can both look back on and go, okay, we shouldn't have done this. This could have been better. We could have gone for the Gold Fury, taken objectives, not been as greedy for going for other objectives afterwards. Was the big difference there. Fates played very well towards the end. I mean, he did his job. He turned up to the fight late. But for me, it was more fineokay that had a bigger impact.
Oh, sure. Yeah, fineokay. This was truly a team victory, and I think I got a little just excited at that play at the end. But for all those mistakes that Kali had made throughout the match, the ability to really turn it on and secure that triple kill and secure the game.
That won the game.
That's impressive.
That won the game for them overall. But let's have a look at First Blood and bring it all the way back to the beginning of the game, because First Blood took a long time in coming.
Yeah, it was not an early First Blood by any stretch of the imagination. As you can see, our jungler here, level 9, uses the teleport and then just drops the hammer.
And I think that was just Rachetier not expecting him to jump to the monkey after he hit him. He was like, no, I'm pretty... Oh, God, I'm dead.
I'm under a tower. No kills have been... And that happens a lot in games. That happens a lot in games where the action is a little bit slower. Teams get a little, I don't want to say complacent, but used to being safe.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, when you're low and can be killed by an overhand smash, it doesn't register.
Well,
like
at least
normally
Athena
does.
Evil coming in as well. But we do have a nice play for you that you got excited about.
Yeah, I mean, I need to take a second look at this Kali play. Coming out of nowhere, here it is. Fates over here. fineokay takes out KeegsMate and then gets just obliterated. And then it's 1-on-3. All of this damage. The ultimate helps Fates out, and there's passive number 1.
Oddie bow was the big important factor in that one as well. The Odysseus bow was constantly chain lightning between the targets, and the bows actually factored into helping pick up the third kill in that engagement too. So the Oddie bow paid off for him. He stayed within the attack speed cap as well.
Exactly. Just underneath the attack speed cap. So really understanding those stats and being able to play with those numbers. So good performance out of Kali and the rest of the team. This time around, Salamander Squadron takes the win and heads on to the next round as opposed to Squirtle Squad. So
they will go on to face Swoop McDucks, I believe.
Ooh, that's going to be our next match. Swoop McDucks will take on Salamander Squadron. And this is an interesting turn of events because had Squirtle Squad won, they would be facing off against Spartyman. So the change that Squirtle Squad has made to the roster, Spartyman is playing for Swoop McDucks. Spartyman makes it on in the next round, and his old team hangs it up for the day.
Well, Salamander Squadron, though, they evolved. That's the big key. Can they continue to evolve is the question. We'll find out after this short break.